telling niggas that was always on my sleeves for the last time. I don't wanna tell a bitch freeze, tell her that I ain't a geezer or the border Vietnamese.
Today on One Always There. Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary. Today on One, state of emergency will not be extended, says Gengob. NSFAF and student leaders reach laptop agreement. First film school opens in the capital. And 2020 edition of Twitter Windhoek to resume next month.
At the 18th COVID-19 public briefing on the national response measures, President Hage Geingob announced that a recent meeting by Cabinet concluded not to extend the 6-month-long state of emergency. This comes as average daily infections recorded are declining nationwide. This also means that all businesses will now be allowed to operate, with liquor outlets operating until 2200 hours, while the curfew and movement restrictions have also been lifted. The state of emergency that has been in place since March this year comes to an end as the President acknowledges that measures have been effective in getting the outbreak under control. However, the President said that they will continue to monitor the situation going forward.
Measures to suppress spread have worked, as testing and contact tracing have not been relaxed and remain constant. For the Namibians, the state of emergency regulations have achieved a measure of success. Having assessed and weighed both the positive and negative impacts of the regulations, having considered the additional capacity created during a 6-month period, and having listened to your extensive discussions and contributions, it was resolved that the state of emergency, upon expiry at midnight tonight, 17 September, will not be extended. Moving forward, we'll monitor the situation for a period of 14 days to determine the way forward under a new dispensation.
The state of emergency might have come to an end, but the Health Minister Kalumbi Shangula encourages members of the public to continue adhering. That includes wearing face masks and social distancing to ensure that they are safe.
Following the expiry of the state of emergency at midnight tonight, the 17th of September 2020, the COVID-19 response will be implemented through new directives or regulations to be issued by the Minister of Health and Social Services in terms of the provisions of the Public and Environmental Health Act, Act number 1 of 2015, and any other relevant legislations, or by other public office bearers responsible for the administration of other relevant legislations. This will include, among others, matters related to quarantine and isolation protocols, the removal and burials of bodies of persons who succumb to notifiable infectious diseases, management of public gatherings, contact tracing, control of the movement of persons into affected areas, testing of persons, and the reopening of points of entry and public transport by road or by air.
At its peak, the central area, which is the epicenter of the outbreak as well, recorded 205 cases. That was at the end of August. Today, just 62 cases were recorded. The President says that this might seem promising, but warned that the country is not out of the woods yet. as a second wave is still very much a possibility in the near future. Reporting for Today on One, I'm Joseph Shifeni.
We've been drifting, lost at sea. You're so far.
Bring the family together with great specials. Like Spa Margarine Brick for only $15.99 and 2 kg Sunlight Hand Washing Powder for just $39.99. We're here for you.
A meeting to address the initiative to provide students with laptops and connectivity devices to assist in online learning held between the National Students Financial Assistance Fund, the Minister of Higher Education, and student leaders of various higher learning institutions has resolved to afford students the choice on whether or not laptops and internet connectivity devices may be deducted from their non-tuition fees. The Student Leaders Task Force at a press briefing announced that the laptop initiative will now be by choice and not compulsory. Students will now, by way of completing a survey, have to indicate whether or not the fund should deduct laptop and an internet connectivity device fees from money owed to them. Student leaders noted that although the initiative is late in the year, it will still be beneficial for students as courses overlap into the next year.
We would therefore like to inform all students of the following. Number one, the tuition fees will be paid 100% as usual. The initiative is not only for NSF beneficiaries, all Namibian students will benefit from this initiative. NSF beneficiaries and privately funded students who are in need will be assisted. It is by choice, and only those who indicate that they are in need of these laptops and device and connectivity will benefit from this initiative. And those who have not opted for these devices will receive their full non-tuition fees.
So in these times, the technology is also taking over. And then given the fact that as students, we should not also look at perhaps maybe the year ending. We still have next year that is coming. Yes. So we need to ask ourselves, do we then again try for next year if maybe the pandemic continues? Or do we then have to absorb what is being given by the government at a good initiative price?
We are trying to put in so many measures in place to ensure that each device reaches the intended student, each laptop reaches the intended student, and we want students to also cooperate with the process, and also in the event that they do receive their devices, do take care of them, use them for the purpose that they are supposed to be, not to sell the devices or seek ways on how to find a second device and things like that. We really discourage our students from engaging into that, because the ultimate of this whole initiative is to ensure that students engage in online learning comfortably.
The fund revealed that students will be expected to split the amount of $6,000 for a laptop and a 10 gigabyte internet connectivity device worth $690 with government. The devices have so far been received through Telecom, which will be the internet provider for the initiative, while evaluation for plus-minus 69 suppliers for a tender the fund put out for 32,000 laptops is still ongoing.
Here we are talking about 6,000, but the 6,000 is the maximum that we have put aside for a particular laptop, meaning that proposals that are coming with for lesser amount, it will be favorably considered. So that, but the ceiling is 6. We won't go above 6. I don't think maximum of 6,000 is an expensive laptop, but we are looking at something that's of quality and durable at the same time. Quality, not too costly, and also durable, so that you don't give laptop to students tomorrow and today and tomorrow they are coming back that the machine that you gave me is not functioning. It will defeat the purpose why this initiative. One of the specifications again is that the products that we are going to acquire, the product meaning of the laptops, whatever brand that will eventually emerge as a favorable brand, should have a warranty center in Namibia. We are getting these devices we got these devices at 690, and it's 10 gig per month. It will be loaded to 10 gig monthly, but the payment is a once-off for the year. So students will get these devices and on a monthly basis they will get 10 gig. 5 gig will be pointed at the IP address of those institutions, meaning that if you are at NAST, you have access to material loaded in NAST e-learning platform, or 5 gig will be used for that purpose, and another 5 gig is for your research.
The initiative was introduced as a response strategy for online learning due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic.
When you're saying things that degrade women, for me, number one, I am not there, because that is basically what I don't believe in. I don't stand for things that degrade women.
What do you think we can add? What can we put in the basket? First of all, let's put Blossom back in the basket.
Look at the person like that, man. Let's do a song.
Let's do something.
Just
let's
like
collaborate.
Let's collaborate.
The Americans were claiming us.
Yes, exactly. To the rest of the world, they belong to us. Namibia, Baba, Namibia.
I'll help you carry on.
Creating music and putting some stuff out for the people who've been supporting me, that's definitely something that's next on my list.
Lona Nangombe, an award-winning musician popularly known as Vambusian, has added a new profession to his career by establishing a creative learning institution called the Namibia Film School. The school, a first of its kind in Namibia, is situated in Windhoek and will offer visual and performing arts courses. Nothing will be the same again, says Vambusian, as he takes the Today on One team for a brief tour around the Namibia Film School. According to him, the objective of establishing the Namibia Film School was to offer the youth with the necessary skills to tell their own stories and to create a local film culture with a unique Namibian identity.
I saw the need of, we've got a lot of story to tell as Africans or as Namibians, and I think we can't tell them all. There's no way of telling them visually yet. And the concept is to teach people to be able to tell the stories visually. I mean, there's amazing stories. If we speak to our grandparents or our uncles, it's amazing stories that they tell us. But we don't see that, whether it's in a movie, whether it's somewhere else, but it's only word of mouth.
One of the key challenges among Namibian youth in the creative industry is finding financial support and knowledge to start their own businesses. According to the founder, the school will also offer a course on entrepreneurship development to provide graduates with the necessary skills and knowledge to create their own businesses.
That is part of the course. That is what you would get taught, that from the word get-go throughout until the end. And I think I would take that inspiration from myself as an artist, and also from my peers, that we are good artists, but we lack the business side. And some of us balance that out quite well. And some of us figured out that if you're an artist, you must get somebody that runs your business for you. But you shouldn't go in blindly. So this is why, if we have to call it the entrepreneurship course that we're offering, teaches you the business of film, teaches you the business of acting, teaches you the business of the entertainment industry.
The Namibian Film School is scheduled to open its doors in January 2021 and will offer a certificate or diploma in filmmaking, acting and radio production.
At this point, I would like to indicate that we are only going to take the religions that believe in God, or any God for this matter, into account, as theology means the study of God and of God's relation to the world.
Okay, I would like to move on to my first point. Like my first speaker said, preaching is like a profession
Point
because...
of information.
Yes.
Yeah. There's that Bushiri, I don't know if you heard of him, and he's also a qualified theologist, and he also takes advantage of the people's vulnerability.
And then 15,000 of the people are coming to live in Africa just because they are building a road for you. We don't have the knowledge to maintain that infrastructure. And now they are just gaining citizenship because they are here for a long time. If you live here for 15 years building a road, of course you can get citizenship. And now there's a land crisis in Africa. Where will Africans live?
Having been postponed twice this year due to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic and the state of emergency restrictions set in place by the head of state Hage Geingob, Pupkewitz Group of Companies and organizers have finally launched the 2020 edition of Tour de Windhoek to take place on the 23rd and 24th of October 2020. This year's edition will be a 2-day competition, as the organizing team expected a more local competition for the 2020 edition.
To our positive surprise, the main sponsor, the Pupkewitz people, were quite adamant that even though we probably couldn't have had too many South African teams, because remember that's why we have the Tour de Windhoek, is to have international participation. I think last year we had 5 teams from South Africa. And the idea was obviously to grow that, but with obviously the COVID regulations that South Africans can't travel. I've just read news from yesterday that apparently from the 1st of October, I think our borders to South Africa will also be open. So maybe now with the second postponement of the date, which is now the 23rd and the 24th of October, maybe we'll even have 1 or 2 South African teams. We don't know exactly what the implications are. But we'll see. The good news is that the Tour de Windhoek is happening again. What we did a month or 2 ago, we changed it from a 3-day event to a 2-day event. So I think that's the biggest change, keeping in mind that for this year we expect it to be 90% or 100% local participation for the local teams. And obviously there's been a huge void and cycling events, and from now on towards the end of the year all the way to the Nedbank Desert Dash, the racing calendar is quite full. So we assume, or we know, that the racers, the athletes are really hungry for properly organized events, and the Tour de Windhoek is one of them. In the past, I mean, the sponsors didn't hold back. We still have massive prize money. We still have the leaders' jerseys, like in the Tour de France, which is actually happening now, as you all know. A yellow jersey, a white jersey for the youngest rider, a polka dot for the best climber, and of course the green jersey for the best sprinter. So even though we changed it from 3 days to 2 days and 1 less stage, everything else as far as financial commitment and all the bells and whistles and prize money and trophies and medals and all of that is happening as always.
Namibian cross-country cyclist Michelle Foster will again be participating in this year's edition. She believes that cyclists will be better prepared to compete on the day.
Well, obviously with the COVID, we all had lots of time to prepare. Obviously, we didn't know if the event's going to take place. With the event being postponed for another month, we all are very excited because we have more time to prepare. But not just that, we are very thankful for the sponsors, Pupkewitz and Megatech, to still host the event in difficult times. So we were very thankful to them. It will be great to have international or South Africans here. It always makes the racing very exciting. So yeah, I mean, and also it's nice for Namibia because it puts us on the map, and I hope some South Africans can come and race with us.
Vianney Links of Team R&B is confident about the readiness of his team as they have been training and is relishing a chance to once again go up against national cyclists, which he believes will help them improve their skills.
2017 I did the solo ride, the light, so it was a quite great experience for me. And then 2019 I did the team, whereby South Africans were also involved, so that was a great experience for me also. So this time I'm still going to do a team, and then my team is really quite fit up to this point, and we still have like 3 or 4 weeks to prepare in advance, so that can gain us more confidence to keep up the training and surely have good results at the end of the day.
The organizing team has encouraged all cyclists to register, as the riders are limited from between 250 to 300 riders.
Win free airtime with hashtag #LearnOn1. Share your comments on the lessons. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. Hashtag #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
In other leading stories, the Ministry of Health and Social Services, in a media statement, confirmed that the parcels prepared by relatives and friends of Namibian students currently studying in Cuba will leave from Namibia to Havana via Johannesburg on the 18th of September. This follows the non-materialization of the first attempt to deliver the parcels at the beginning of last month. The cargo, according to the service provider, is scheduled to arrive in Cuba on the 24th of September. The ministry noted that the main challenge in executing the delivery of the cargo to Havana has been the non-availability of flights due to the suspension of commercial flights and closure of airspaces by several governments around the globe. Moreover, demand for international cargo services has outstripped supply due to increased demand to deliver COVID-19 related supplies around the world. And the US government is supporting the Ministry of Health and Social Services to hire 67 data clerks for a 1-month period during the month of September. By increasing the ministry's capacity to analyze disease strains and patterns, Namibia is better able to understand and respond to healthcare needs of the population. These data clerks will support the ministry to strengthen its electronic data systems. The 67 new positions will update HIV patient files in electronic systems, allowing doctors and nurses to have the patient's most current information regardless of the facility they visit. In addition, some data clerks will be assigned to enter COVID-19 patient information from paper forms into a new electronic data system. These activities will also increase the flow of information for monitoring at national level, which will help understand these epidemics and improve planning and resource allocation.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. The Namibian police force apprehended a pastor in Greenville, Matonga this week. The pastor claims that he does not only offer prayers to his clients, but can also heal as well for a fee. Chris said freedom of religion allows people to practice what they want as long as it does not infringe on others, which means that they can freely pay money to churches as long as they do not complain later on for not getting the desired results. Andrea said our leaders cannot allow such people in the country and that the issue should be discussed in Parliament. Tuvetwile does not blame the pastor at all, but says Namibian women see such cases every day but remain ignorant. Caleb said Chief Inspector Fonseca should be promoted to the rank of Commissioner for working hard and taking risks. Lukbeck said the government should call on the pastor to remove COVID-19 from the country. Francelin said people should turn to God to avoid getting robbed. Hilda said the healer is not a pastor but a witch doctor. Social justice activist David Hofeni started an initiative to assist learners and students with their online applications at local universities free of charge. PK said this is a good initiative and he should continue. Piakula described the job as perfect. Next said, God bless you, Mr. Councillor. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
Let's talk about the coronavirus outbreak here in Africa. How do you get people to regularly wash their hands when water is scarce? How do you get people to work from home when majority of Africans work in the informal sector?
People are dying and suffering.
More importantly, how do you get a vibrant and dynamic continent to stop in its tracks? Welcome to The Breakdown, BBC Africa's COVID-19 special program, helping you make sense of the crisis.
Win free airtime with One Africa TV. Share your comments on the channel. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better.
A look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior partly cloudy and warm to hot in the south. Elsewhere sunny and hot to very hot. The wind moderate to fresh winds in places over the interior. And the coast partly cloudy and cold to warm. Now we'll look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
I'm feeling so bad because of I have been arrested. We are trying to sell to provide our kids with food, but the police, they come to arrest us.
I was literally apprehended in Independence Avenue. I mean, there was no prior communications with the police or with Bonn or Benga Namibia. These guys literally just apprehended us on surprise.
And when you are talking in a manner that is exaggerated about brutality in this country, I should ask you in which country you live.
Yes, I can confirm that indeed there were 2 cell phones that were found after a search was conducted at the cells that the Fish Road accused us staying.
Do you understand the amount of money
that the government has spent on the fight against COVID-19? Could they have spent 300 million on tracing people and managing people? Is that even possible?
Now on BBC World News, the biggest African and